After buffing my entire exterior and cleaning out the interior of my Sprinter van, I was finally ready to start laying down lumber. Once I got my swivel seat installed and cut a huge hole for my max air fan, I reinforced my subfloor and insulated with rigid foam board. In this episode, I took advantage of the long Memorial Day weekend and got my sound deadening panels in, all my first stripping done, and most of my electrical wiring complete. Good morning, friends. It is Saturday morning of Memorial Day weekend. It's about 6 in the morning. And if you're wondering why I am literally in my coat and a hat, it's because it is snowing. After work last night, I finally finished up my floor, got it all taped down. I put the Mercedes subfloor back on top of it, so I'm super stoked with how that came together, although it really did take me about a week. So what I started doing last night was all of these sound deadening mats you can see around here. This definitely isn't like a necessary step, but for me it was just like, I want this to be super comfortable, both when you're riding in it and then if you're at night and you're kind of stealth camping, kind of keep the sounds from outside coming in. I bought 50 square feet of kill mat sound deadening stuff right off Amazon. I will leave that in the description if you want to check that out, and I think 50 square feet will be just enough to do the walls and then some of the ceiling. So really stoked on this stuff, and I think it looks pretty cool too. Not that, again, no one will see it, but I don't know, looks cool. And the time it took me to do all that, it looks like it's an actual beautiful day out now. It's still a little on the cold side, but at least it's not snowing anymore. I literally had to shut all my doors at one point because it was snowing so hard and it was all just blowing in to the van. 50 square feet was like the perfect amount for this size van. I was able to do the entire ceiling, all the wheel wells. It's beautiful. Check this out. But I realized I've never really revealed like my design of how exactly I'm gonna be building this. Basically, when it comes to like a 144 Sprinter van like this, or really any sort of Sprinter van, I think there's about three main layouts you could do. You could either do the fixed bed where you just have a bed raised up in the back and a big garage underneath. You can have kind of like the U-shaped couch that with the table in the middle and then kind of all folds down. Or you can have basically what I had in my last van, which if you didn't know that, it was basically just a couch that then pulled out into a bed, kind of like a futon in essence. And long story short, that is what I'm gonna be using, is a futon sort of couch into bed design. And the two main reasons for that is because one, I wanna have that kind of open layout feel where you can walk in from the side and out the back and really open up the van that way. And two, I feel like when you have the fixed beds like that, it feels like you're always kind of in bed, you know, like even during the day and you're sitting on your bed, like you're never really not in your bed or on your bed or something. And for me, a big part of my routine and my morning and stuff is like, it's kind of separating from bedtime and evening and rest to like going out and working or something like that. And the standard measurements of a full bed, like a full bed, is 55 inches wide by about 72 inches long. So I'm gonna be able to fit a full bed in here, which is just super rad. Basically the way the bed is gonna work, it's basically gonna pull across and just sit flush right against this wall. My batteries are going to sit right here on the step well. So basically this whole entryway is going to be cut in about half. Batteries are going to be here, inverter, all that stuff, controls are then going to be up on the wall here. I'm going to run to Home Depot, test out the sound dampening, grab the lumber I need. I have the screws, I have basically everything else. I just need to get the lumber, and I'm going to start strapping it, throwing up the studs, and then hopefully I can start running the electrical as well. $4 each. I think I need about like 25, so this is going to be about $100 for these. You always want to make sure they're straight when you get them, just by looking down the end of them. This one looks like it's a hockey stick or a golf club or something, so I'm going to put this one aside. I want your wood to be straight. I'm leaving with 24 1x3x8s and a splinter, so that's always nice. It's an exciting time right now. I just got the first 3 burring strips or studs or straps, whatever you want to call them. You can see the lumber like really starts to take shape of the van here. It's a little difficult because I'm doing it on my own. So I'm just having to use a C-clamp to kind of clamp the lumber once I have it shaped, and then I'm really drilling it all in. So these guys are a little more difficult because you got to be really precise where you put the screws, just because there's not as like fat a rib to go to. Now it's also important you leave about like a 1-inch gap on your floor. So I'm using a kind of a board to hold that up. So when you put your floor in, you don't put your stud all the way down to the base and you have no room for your floor. This is where it'd be easier if you had 2 people, but I don't. Basically just push that guy, take your clamp, and you can kind of hear it really just get set. And so once you have that guy where you want him, I'm just gonna use my bits. I'm using a 5/8 countersinking bit here, and I'm just gonna pop out 4 holes where I'm gonna screw in here. So let's get this guy. Once you get your holes countersinked, this is where the real muscle comes in. I'm using a number 14 screw by 1.5 inches, self-tapper. It's important that you get it with the wings on the end of it because they do make a few different types, and these ones just completely eat through the metal. So you'll feel it bite, and that's when you just want to really give it a lot of weight. You don't want to be easy with these, you just want to go right into it, because what this is doing is drilling the hole and screwing itself in. So it's kind of like an all-in-one. Let's give it a go. So really make sure you get a good grip on this, and there, it's biting, and then bingo. Nice and flush. There you go. Super stoked with how this all came out. I'm all done with the vertical strapping. I think I might need to add a few horizontal strapping along the way, and eventually I'm gonna have to add my rafters up here for my ceiling. Now I chose to double up, and what I mean by that is instead of just 1 stud there, I went 2, 2, 2. Basically, I went 2 in a lot of spots. And the reason why I did that so heavily here was because this is where the kitchen's gonna be. And I just want to make sure that this is really, really secure, because we are gonna be having a lot of weight and be going off-road and stuff. So I don't want anything to fall. Beautiful sunset, which you guys can't see because that's completely overexposed. But I gotta run to the store before that closes for the night. Basically, eat dinner, research some stuff for tomorrow, and then I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning to get some more work done. See you guys tomorrow. Get stoked. This is going to be sick. See you tomorrow. Whoop. Whoop. Everybody, today it's only a chilly day out here. I don't know why it's so cold and it's almost June, but today's an exciting day. One of those days I've been worried about since looking into building a van, but one of those days I'm excited to kind of get through, and that is the electrical. I went to Home Depot this morning. I'm finding an odd solace in going to Home Depot at 7 in the morning. So basically I've been just going through and just marking on the van exactly like where I'm gonna be needing things. So for instance, like here's my fridge down here, my water pump, some lights, outlets, the whole deal. So I really went through the van and just made sure I have a good understanding of where I want to run the wires. So now when it comes to power and currents and all that stuff, there's really two different types. You have alternating current or AC, and you have direct current or DC. Most of us are used to alternating current, which is basically the 110 volt outlets that you see in your house. You plug in your laptop, you plug in your phone charger, boom, you have power. DC is a little more hidden. We don't see it as much, but think of like the cigarette lighters in your car and stuff. When you use those, that is direct current. You could really just take an AC wire, which I'll show you, which has a live neutral and a ground, I believe, and just snip the ground for DC. Or you can get like the red and black positive and negative wire for DC and do it that way. I don't know if that really makes sense. It will make sense more when I show you guys. So for instance, here's just your standard red wire here. It's 12 gauge wire. I'm running everything 12 gauge, which is a whole nother discussion in terms of your gauging of wire. But basically this will be one strand I will use for my DC, and then I have a black here. And this will be my other strand. Basically with DC, you just hook up red to red, black to black, hook that up to your fuse block, make sure your fuse block is hooked up to your battery, make sure your battery is powered by your solar and all that stuff, and you literally have power. It's really quite that simple. Here's kind of like the main sort of intersection area. I'm not super stoked on this set, but these sets I'm able to kind of run down through this frame here and have them all pop out here. The biggest thing is just to make sure that you really are labeling your ends. So this is my water pump here. What's this one? Like my fridge and I don't know, fan. And then also make sure you label them on the other side too, because once the insulation goes up, you're not going to be able to see any of this. So the other thing you need to make sure of, this will all be cleaned up, kind of like this looseness when I'm all done. But you just also want to make sure you're not really like kinking your sides, like when you're going around a corner or anything. So you want to kind of leave a good amount of slack like that and not have it be pulled super tight or something. I actually managed to kind of clean up this main channel area here. So you can see that all of these wires now are running into this channel here, and then they basically all come out here. And as I showed you guys before, they're all labeled and stuff, but this is kind of becoming the bulk of my wiring here. The yellow is that AC wire I was talking about. So if you notice, there's 3 wires in here, where in our DC stuff, we only have 2. Basically like a live and neutral, there's no ground. So that's what I'm saying, you could use this and then just snip the ground off and run it for this. But I kind of want to do it the proper way, so that's why I'm using a wire for my AC and also running all of these DC wires. But I need to go to Home Depot now for the second time today, but it's kind of be a nice break here because I'm going to do my rafters. So we have the wall studs here, but now we need something to hook up our ceiling to, aka the rafters, essentially just roof studs. So I need to go get lumber. That was very long-winded. I just talked a lot. More wire, more lumber. So just a little development here. I was putting my rafters, as you can see up here. Well, the board's not there anymore. My drill socket is kind of stripped out. So whenever it really gets to really having to bite in the screw into the metal, it just spins. I kind of cleaned up the this kind of front wiring harness here, and I'm just really stoked on how that all came together. This is super overkill. You 100% don't need to do this. I'm super tired, exhausted, my body hurts, not gonna lie. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna call it a night here. Still gotta clean up, but I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll get right back at it early tomorrow, which is Memorial Day, and we'll get all this wrapped up. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow in the morning.
Hold me tight. Don't turn on the lights.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day to work on the van here, Memorial Day. This is how I currently did the rafters, just one piece right across, which I think worked out really well because it left me just enough sort of clearance underneath where my ceiling will kind of sit down a little further than the rib. The reason I did it this way and not basically like up on the rib this way was just to squeeze out a little bit more clearance. I don't think it will make like that big of a difference, maybe literally a ½ inch, but I think the ½ inch will be nice. I'm gonna go a thin floor and a thin ceiling so I won't lose too much more. Got all of my lights, which was like definitely the longest part here. You can see basically where all of these sort of like outlets kind of are hanging down. I basically have 6 LEDs that are going to go up in this main kitchen area, and then I have 4 LEDs that are going to be back here over the bed, and so they're going to be on their own switches. Overall, I've like basically wired my camper van, which is pretty wild. So I know this video is on the longer side, but I mean, how can it not be when it was 3 full days of work? If you watch this far, man, you are a true champ. I really appreciate it. So thank you so very much for watching. Please drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you spent your Memorial Day. Just let me know how you're doing. And I will see all of you guys in the next video. Take it easy, fam. Peace out. Woo.